talk a little bit about this video piece called Desire and Duchamp. I decided to make this piece because I really was trying to wrestle with my own long-standing attachment and sort of revulsion to porn and erotica. And I was also trying to think about what that would mean if I propelled myself as a black woman into the canon of visual culture and Western art. And in particular, I started thinking about Marcel Duchamp's New Descending Staircase painting he did in 1912. So at the time, I was living in a really shitty apartment in a neighborhood that I wish I remained nameless at this point. But it had looked like in this apartment, like time had stopped, where it was this sort of amber-colored cabinets in the kitchen, and this really crappy carpet that had not been cleaned in who knows how long, and really crappy amber lighting. And the more I started thinking about that painting and Marcel Duchamp's work, just in relation to some other work that I've been working on, and I started just having to interact with the staircase in particular, and this house was a 3-level. I lived in the attic apartment. And so I just kept realizing, like, wow, I'm spending so much time at nighttime by myself in this sort of really queerly lit attic space, and then having to then descend down these staircases all the time, like, you know, at all hours of the day and night. I really had almost no interaction with my roommates at the time. So I really just started to play around and to think about how to collide early video art, porn aesthetics, and thinking also too about blaxploitation films. So when I first made this piece and showed it in a crick groups, a couple of people sort of started, you know, telling me, oh, you know, it looks a little like Girls Gone Wild, you know. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because I'm not really doing anything overtly sexual in this piece. But I think that that has to do with the look of, you know, the shitty sort of quality of the camera, but it also has to do, I think, with the loadedness that comes with showing a black nude body, a female body, and sort of the history of slavery, this history of visual culture. I also think about like Kara Walker's work and Carrie Mae Weems's work, where there's this overt use of sexuality and violence and degradation. But I wanted to sort of think about it in a different way and sort of approach it from a more sort of position of play and pleasure and satire and whimsy. And if you have some time listening to the sound as well, that's another element that really plays with it. There's a lot of places where you hear my skin rubbing against the carpet, and you hear my feet on the railing. So I wanted to really think about it being a living, breathing body outside of this idea of painting it being something really static. I wanted to really sort of use the medium of video to really think about it being a living, breathing body that's interacting with the camera. And at the end of the piece, you'll see there's a segment where I run really fast down the stairs, and then I actually end up punching the camera. So it was a way for me to think about these tensions and these contradictions that I'm playing around with in my